my channel. As always, Christina C. Jones, and I am really excited about today's video. It's another backlist video, and if this is your first time tuning in for one of those, it's just me talking about some of the projects that are, in the past, in the back of my catalog, meaning not my more recent projects, but just things that I've written in the past and maybe don't have a video focusing specifically on. And I try my very best not to give too bad of spoilers, and so if it's a project that you haven't read before, then this video should be safe for you to watch. But today I'm going to be talking about Love Notes, which is the project that kind of opened up the Mahogany Heights world. It's not the project where I introduced the Heights. It is the project where the Heights was first named, though. Typically, I would have a nice prop. I would have my paperback copy of Love Notes with me, but I'm not really sure what happened, but we're going to make this work anyway. So, I can't really talk about Love Notes. I don't have my copy of Love Notes, but I do have some other props. I cannot really talk about Love Notes without giving you guys a little bit first about Serendipitous Love, which is where the Heights, the neighborhood of the Heights, was first introduced. First introduced in A Crazy Little Thing Called Love, which was a project that kind of, I have to talk about that project in its own video. I won't do it the disservice of of just a passing mention another one. I will talk about A Crazy Little Thing Called Love in its own video, but that project, I feel like, really kind of changed the trajectory of my writing, because it was one of the first projects where I just kind of let go of all the conventions and let go of everything that a romance novel was kind of quote unquote supposed to look like. And in some ways I definitely did still lean into some convention with that, but not as much as previous projects. And it was one of the first projects where I feel like where I started to really find my voice as a writer. And there's just so many good things that I can say about A Crazy Little Thing Called Love, but this is not that book's video. This is Love Notes video. So the reason I bring that up is because that is where this neighborhood was introduced. This neighborhood full of, upwardly mobile Black people, full of just a whole lot of community and warmth and just realness. Like, I feel when I get the chance to write about the Heights, I feel like I'm at home. Like, I'm so I'm so comfortable writing about the Heights. And so knowing that, for me, I wanted to bring the Serendipitous Love series to a close. I knew that did not mean that I wanted to leave the neighborhood completely. I knew that I didn't want to be away from the neighborhood too much, and that was where the idea came about to, okay, just because we're not writing a book that fits within that series doesn't mean that we have to leave the neighborhood altogether. So, Serendipitous Love. The idea behind that, and calling it that, was kind of the definition of serendipitous, the accidental discovery of something wonderful. And I feel like that title, or that series name, really carries through all of those books. You have these couples who were not looking for or expecting to fall in love or find this relationship, but that's what happens anyway. But on the other side of that, you have the Equilibrium series, which is the series where, where the Heights is embedded now. You have these couples trying to find balance. They're trying to get on the same page with each other. Like, you may have one who their feelings are a little different than the other. Again, I'm trying not to go into spoilers, but you may have one part of the couple who is, they're feeling a certain way about the other, but the other person just isn't there yet, or doesn't plan to ever be there, or whatever. But it's more about them coming together and more about them finding the right balance that is going to allow them to fall in love and have that healthy relationship. So, one of the things that I love most about Love Notes is just honestly one of my most favorite things that I've ever written. Series starters usually are really, they're usually really, really special to me anyway. But Love Notes was just there was just something about it. I just had this. I just had this feeling like that was a really special moment for me that I'm actually having a hard time articulating. But just meeting Jules, who is Juliet, who is the heroine for Love Notes, and meeting Troy, who's the hero. Um, just who they are as characters. We have Jules, who is very free, very bubbly. I use that word free, which she is, but at the same time, she's a little tortured and a little messy as well. Just thinking about some of the things that she's still dealing with, things that she's healing from, things that she's trying to navigate. It's like it's not. It's her giddiness and her goofiness and her her bubbliness is not a front, but at the same time, like, she has these dark moments as well that really kind of make it that make it difficult for her to be able to get on the same page with Troy, who has his dark moments as well. He is, what to say about Troy? He is very much hmm, I'm having a hard time because I try not to do spoilers with these, but Troy is very I don't want to say emotional, but yeah. Also, yeah, like, not emotional in a, he's not running around crying all the time or anything like that. But he is very introspective, and he is very interested in the idea of family and how he fits into some kind of dynamic like that. Just figuring out, if that dynamic is right for him, and if it's something that he even quote unquote deserves, or something that he can even attain, trying to figure that out and navigate that for him. Oh man, I really, really, really love Jules and Troy. I love them separately. I love them together. And another thing that I've enjoyed with the Equilibrium series in general, but especially with Jules and Troy, was this idea of their connection with the characters from the original Serendipitous Love series. And in Love Notes, the characters that they connect with are Vivian and Carter, who are the title, not the title couple, but they are the main couple for Didn't Mean to Love You, which is book 2 in the Serendipitous Love series. And Carter is very much Troy's mentor. Like, they fit very well together. But getting to peek in with them and see their family and see how they're navigating and see the advice that they're able to give just from the things that they've learned since their love story happened was another really special part of being able to write this book for me. But yeah, this was Love Notes. I really can't help smiling when I think about Love Notes. And it's crazy because this wasn't even the book that I was going to do when I decided that I was going to do a backlist book. I didn't know what book I was going to do, but I asked a friend and she suggested Love Notes, and I was like, I don't know, and my thought was that, well, that's not like the most exciting, it's not the most sexy, um, you know but then when I really thought about it, it was like, no, like Love Notes is that girl. Like, honestly, like, when I think about my catalog, I would absolutely recommend Love Notes to any new reader of mine, and any old reader of mine as well. But someone who hasn't read my work, I feel like Love Notes is really an exemplary example of what of the writing that feels like home for me. Um, One of the things that I am complimented most on, if it's not weird for me, if that's not a weird thing to talk about, one of the things that I'm complimented on often is dialogue. Dialogue that really feels like conversations that people have in real life, conversations that they have with their girlfriends and their partners and their parents and their siblings and their coworkers, whatever. Um, and that's really important to me. That is really, really, really important to me, because I feel like that's one of the hallmarks of my work. I want these books to feel like home. I want it to feel like, like being wrapped up in a hug. Like I want it to feel like that. And I feel like Love Notes is really like the epitome of that, because for me, this kind of straight up contemporary, warm, like that's my North Star. Like that's what I'm always going to come back to, even when I've written paranormal or something darker, or gone to erotica or done romantic comedy. All of that is, yeah, that's all well and good. But my set point is always going to be contemporary romance, just two normal people figuring out how to be together and how to love each other and how to love themselves and love the people around them. And I feel like Love Notes just has all of that. And so, yeah, I think I've I think I've talked long enough about the book, so I'm going to go ahead and end this here. But if you have not read Love Notes before, I cannot recommend it highly enough. If I may recommend my own work, if you have read Love Notes, drop a comment. Let me know. Let me know how you felt about it. Let me know what you thought about it. If there's a different book that you feel like you would recommend from my catalog to a new reader, let me know about that too. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good one.